And welcome to a new episode of the Rebel Radio Podcast, found at the rebelradiopodcast.com, where you can find links to all the apps and all that good stuff. And it's time, episode 448. A couple weeks away from 450. Wow, that's pretty insane. And
in the membrane.
Yeah, man.
There we go.
It's getting to the point now whenever I'm doing movie lists where I'm like, man, did we do that movie? I've had to go this year for the first time. I've had to go look a few up to make sure we didn't do it. So it's getting to that point. That just tells you you've covered a lot of films. But there's plenty more to cover. Plenty. I mean, you got Hollywood releases an average of 100 films a year now, or more sometimes. So there's plenty of film to go. I mean, shoot.
We've yet to touch Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice.
Jane Austen. I mean, but in all seriousness, we've hardly touched a portion of the James Bond franchise. We haven't done a single Harry Potter film. I'm not saying we would do these. I'm just throwing it out there. Just different things we haven't done.
Yeah.
We've only done 2 or 3 of the Star Trek films. Plenty of franchise films like that we haven't even done, and lots of other individual movies out there, lots of cult classics we haven't touched. So plenty of stuff to go to keep us going towards 500 and to infinity and beyond. You never know. Tons of animated stuff we've done. We do animated films every now and then, but so much we can do if we went that route. So we will stay fresh.
We should do some anime before they ban it in Texas. Outright.
I don't think that's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's been passed unanimously in the state legislation already.
Yep. They're banning Kamehamehas.
Yep.
Because they're blue.
But I doubt it would. I'm surprised. It was like both parties voted unanimously to ban it.
Well, wasn't it part of that revenge porn image stuff that kept popping up?
No, it's to ban like AI generated depictions of minors in obscene situations, I guess. But they say that, but it's very vague to include the entirety of anime and manga. So
yeah, I heard it's obviously face value. I think everyone's for that definition.
Yeah,
but if there's something like Goku, in Dragon Ball, he's naked with his butt cheeks hanging out. Is that included?
Well, Disney, some Disney films, since most of the Disney princesses are underage teenagers, kissing. That's kind of considered obscene. So we'll see. Hopefully the ACLU will kick in and say, nope, that's no.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. But anyhow.
But yeah, man, other than that, it is it's Long's favorite part of the show. It is Comicpalooza season. And they've been slacking on the announcements lately as far as anyone else going to be there. I've noticed that last week.
They haven't announced any?
They have. I'm just saying this past week they haven't really announced.
Yeah, it seems like it's been forever since they've announced a celebrity guest.
But we're going to be there Saturday at 6:00. I think is our official show time.
6 to 6:45.
And I guess we can, since it's official now in the app and everything, we are going to discuss the legacy of Superman on film, and we will start from the 1950s through the Christopher Reeve films to current day and discuss Superman on film. So it should be fun, discussing the history of Superman at the movies. Something different than we've covered. I mean, we've covered Batman, we've covered Star Wars, we've covered Indiana Jones. We've done Star Wars a couple of times, and we've covered the movie that we're doing today. Was originally covered at Comicpalooza.
Yeah,
and that's why we're revisiting it today. So it's always a good time. I'm not really I'm not a huge doing a live show guy. Like, I like to do it once I get in the moment, especially like if I'm with you guys. I know Long you won't be there, but I'm just saying in general that I do enjoy it with you guys. But I'm a very introverted. It takes a lot for me to get up and talk in front of people. And that's why I think, what was it, last year, Matt grabbed me a beer to help me relax for the show. Because it's usually right next to the Eureka Heights booth. So Matt grabs a beer and it helps.
They always have a Comicpalooza beer, so it seems appropriate,
Yeah. So it'll be fun. Maybe we'll have a giveaway or two. We'll see as it gets closer and get people to come out and and listen to the show. June 20th, 21st, 22nd, something, whatever weekend that is. Yeah, that sounds right. In George R. Brown Convention Center. So it'll be cool. So see you there. Come say hi. We'll give you a button and a sticker.
Yeah.
But
I'm listening to the show.
Other than that, man, how are you guys? Doing good this week?
Yeah, not bad. It's been a busy week. I mean, it was a short work week because of Memorial Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
When it came back, all these deliveries came in and been busy the whole week.
I don't know what that's like. I don't get holidays off. I'm not sure what that's like.
Yeah, I know, right? Even on Memorial, don't you request it to off or anything?
No, I worked. I mean, it's not paid, so. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we don't get paid for Memorial Day. So
wow.
On the B tier national holiday, that's
it was it's been a fairly easy week, so I'm not really complaining.
Every American that works on Memorial Day is a victory for terrorism.
Oh Lord! And I am off next week, but so at least there's that. But that said, though, yeah, absolutely. From the Robo Radio podcast, we salute those have fallen for Memorial Day for sure. So it is an important holiday. But somehow it's turned into over the last several years, it's turned into like a mini July 4th. It's like, I don't remember growing up Memorial Day being like this barbecue and drinking beer holiday, but somewhere it's become that commercialism at its finest, I suppose. But I guess there's also, at the flip side, there's nothing wrong with celebrating our military and those that have given their lives for our freedom either. So I don't really have a problem with it. I just feel like it's definitely a more commercialized holiday than it was when I was growing up.
I remember whenever I worked for Budweiser, they were really pushing to get displays out there and make this like a push for like the beginning of summer.
Yeah.
So I think maybe, like you said, marketing, pushing it to be this, summer kickoff, versus, the day that it was intended to be, which was the day in which balloons are most prevalent, so that you could don soldiers' graves with flowers.
Right. Yeah. Well, and to relate it all, though, it definitely always was the kickoff of the summer movie season, which has kind of got moved up now to early May. But Memorial Day was always that first big weekend, and this weekend was huge, man. Lilo and Stitch making a ton of money. Family. I mean, you have a whole generation that grew up watching Lilo and Stitch. Now they're taking their children to go see it.
Did you hear about the change they made to that movie?
No. I know I've never seen the original, so I wouldn't even notice.
Okay. So in the original, there's a big theme. The big theme is Ohana means family. Nani is Ohana means family. And Nani is fighting to keep Lilo because their parents died, and she's trying to keep custody of her. She's struggling. She's trying to work, and keep Lilo out of trouble and make sure that she can still, keep her and not have her taken from the state. Well, in the movie, apparently she gives Lilo up so she can go to college. She gives her up for adoption.
That's
and I'm
a big deviation there.
I was like, does Ohana not mean family anymore? And she wants to move to the northern, I guess, states so that she could go into a marine biologist program. Wouldn't it be better if it was in Miami? I
follow a lot of movie news, and I haven't seen anybody really complaining about that. So I guess it's not.
They're complaining. I've been seeing negative news feeds.
Overall, though, people say it's the best live action Disney movie they put out.
Huh.
So it's getting well reviewed from everybody.
And it's making money.
Yeah.
It made more in one weekend than Snow White made in its entire theater debut.
Well, that's not hard to do.
Yeah.
The movie was a bomb from day one.
What?
Snow White.
Oh.
Yeah. My daughter wants to see it, so I think sometime next week when I'm off, I probably will go see it. So
it's Stitch.
Doesn't bother me. Yeah, I'm not obsessed with the original film enough to worry about a little deviation from it. I probably wouldn't even noticed. So, is what it is. But yeah, man. So, summer movie season's officially here. And even though it feels like a weaker summer movie season, like, I mean, there's some stuff I want to see, but I can wait for it. Like 28 years later, I want to see it, but I can wait for it to come out streaming.
Yeah.
Ballerina, I want to see it, but I can wait for it to come streaming. It's like I'm not in a rush to go see a John Wick spinoff. I think Jurassic World might be the next thing I go see at the theaters.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I kind of want to see it.
I wouldn't pass up seeing dinosaurs in the big screen. But then again, I did pass up on was it Jurassic World 3 though with Sam Neill?
Yeah, I didn't see that one in theaters.
I saw that one in theaters.
Yeah. And then I wish I would have, because I'd watch it and I enjoyed it, So it was definitely better than Fallen Kingdom. So, but yeah, so and then we got Fantastic Four and Superman later on in the summer. So there's some stuff to look forward to.
Yeah,
and so it'll all. I'm sure there'll be some stuff to go see. But otherwise, I did see some of the theaters this weekend. I went and saw Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and I loved it, man. I still feel like Fallout is the best of the 8 films, but this one is still really good. It's a good, solid. If it is the end of Ethan Hunt's story, it ends the story quite well. Some really fantastic action set pieces. One thing I loved about this, and I'm going to say non-spoiler here because people are still going to see it, is that it truly felt like an impossible mission. And I intend that pun because I really thought for a few moments, like, man, is he going to survive this? Is he going to get out of it? And kudos to the screenwriters for not insulting their audience. The story makes sense. It's you buy into it as an audience member, and you really do think like, man, is he going to survive this? And how are they going to get out of this? And it's well written. And they take the AI story from Dead Reckoning, and they don't. I felt like towards the end of Dead Reckoning that could have gotten a bit convoluted, but they really pull back the curtain a bit. And I dare use the word simplify it, but it works to not make the story over convoluted, because they could have easily gotten lost in this very complicated AI story, and they don't. So I really liked it. It made a lot of money too, not Lilo and Stitch money, but it did very well too for people that weren't going to see Lilo and Stitch. And kudos again to Tom Cruise for just continuing to make entertaining films. I mean, it's arguably the best action franchise of the last 30 years. I mean, I know John Wick is very good too, but I might give the slight edge to Mission Impossible over the last 30 years, and John Wick might be the second best action franchise. Just because the consistency in the Mission Impossible films and the thrill of them, and just really well made films. Matt, did you get a chance to go see it yet? I knew you were going to try.
I really wanted to go see it Sunday, or
and even Frank saw it already, man. He beat you to it.
Yeah,
you let the Frank beat you.
I did, man, and normally I'm pretty good about it, but yeah, I did not make it out to go see it yet. Hopefully Sunday or Monday coming up, I can add it.
Man, the submarine scene in it is freaking fantastic. It's intense. It's really well done, and the musical score they used during it, it's like they do the horns thing like it's real overly used since inception, but for this scene, the horns score like really works really well to the intensity. I thought that was cool. But yeah, man, I definitely try to see it. It's a good fitting end to Ethan Hunt's saga. And to be fair, and this is non-spoiler, they kind of leave it where they could easily do more, obviously, But yeah, if it ends after 8, it ends after 8, which is fine. And I imagine Paramount Pictures, in some ways, they'll continue the franchise, even if it's without Tom Cruise at some point. They might take a little break. I think it's just too popular of a name brand to not do more. And, so we'll see what they do. And then other than that, I'm trekking along slowly on Andor. I think I'm only through episode 5. So I've only got one episode watched since last time we recorded a week ago or whatever. It's just trekking through it slowly. I'm trying. It's just like, such a slow burn. I'll get there. Andor. I'll get there.
Well, where have you left off now?
I'm like through the 5th episode. Yeah. It's a slow burn for me. I've only watched 1 episode since last week.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. I'm trying though.
I'm on 3. I'm on episode 3.
Jeez.
At least I started it. I'm gonna try and finish it. I did finish.
They released them in like 3 episode arcs. That's how it was easy for me. But
yeah. I did real quick, and I'll be quick on this, Matt. To let you. I did randomly start watching. I don't know why. I was flipping through Amazon Prime, and I just randomly started watching the Witchblade anime that came out in like 2006, based on the comic book.
Oh yeah,
and it caught me. And the next thing you know, I'm like 3 episodes in, and it's not very good. It's like, but for some reason, I'm watching it. I don't know why. I don't know.
Is it animated well?
It's animated well.
Nice. And well, the chick's busty too. So.
Yeah, she's busty, and it's like their episodes are quick, like 20 minutes. They're fast, and it's one of those where Prime doesn't put a lot of commercials in. I think there's like 1 commercial, so it goes by fast. Yeah, the other night I just sat down, I put it on. I just was curious to check it out, and the next thing you know, I'm like, watched 3 episodes. I spent hour and 10 minutes on Witchblade.
that Foodorama over on Victory. Not far from my house, like down Little York, where it turns into like Victory, Alabanza, Gulf Bank, all of that stuff. It used to be a Randall's, and they had a comic book section. My mom used to go shop there because my uncle worked there for a little bit, and I would always stop in the comic book section and just stare at the Witchblade artwork. I was like, freaking 9.
Image Comics was in that time was a reflection of the world in general. I mean, you compare it to like the WWE Attitude Era and the revolution of television changing at the time with the creation of like FX networks and comics too, man. You'd walk in the comic store and these Image books would be these really well-written science fiction stories. Don't get me wrong. They were good books, but they would feature busky females on the covers and inside the books, the lead protagonists a lot of times were these females with Tomb Raider style chest, and it was just a sign of the times. And but to give their credit, some of the books were very well written too. They just but that's what they were drawing into comic book stores. You were drawing 18 to 24-year-old males into the comic store. It's not like now where everybody's a geek. Your girlfriend is a geek too. Back then you were trying to draw males in the comic stores. Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah, definitely. But
so Matt, what'd you watch?
I finished The Last of Us season 2. It ended somewhat the way I thought it would end. The person that I expected to die died, as they did in the game. But it ends on a cliffhanger where it has this like it just stops. After Abby busts in on Jesse, Tommy, Ellie, and Dina, and then it goes back to like a few days before and starts going through Abby's perspective. So what I'm guessing is we're going to get like Abby's perspective at the beginning of season 3, and then it
makes sense since you play as her in the game.
Yeah. So because whenever you start out as Abby, right? And you just know that you're searching for someone in
Jackson. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's been a bit since, but yeah.
But yeah, so I finished that. Did not get further on Andor, but I did. So I'd never seen this film, and it wasn't a very good video game movie. And that is, because my son is a big Doom fan, so I rented 2005 Doom.
That'll be a few bucks you'll never get back.
Yeah, I know. Luckily, it was like a less than $3 rental. They gave me some discount on it.
That crap's not streaming for free somewhere.
I tried finding it because I thought same thing that you thought. This crap's got to be on Tubi or something.
This movie's so bad.
It is, and it's very slow. They're just not only is the CGI not good,
and don't they shoot it from like a first person view too? So it gives you that it's kind of dizzy if I remember right.
For about 5-ish minutes, they have that.
Oh, that's right, towards the end of the film.
Yeah.
What movie again?
Doom
2005.
Okay.
The Rock.
with The Rock and what's his name? Judge Dredd 09. William Butcher.
Carl Urban's in it?
Carl Urban, yeah. Carl Urban.
That's his first movie role after Lord of the Rings, I think.
Yeah. So watched it with my son. He was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." The first person. But yeah, definitely money I'm not going to get back. Hopefully I can go watch Mission Impossible this week. We did watch. I did have Jackie watch Fallout because I think her most recent Mission Impossible film was going to go see Dead Reckoning Part 1. And I think she'd seen the first one and maybe the second, but she hadn't seen 3, 4, 5.
Other than the character threads of who they are, you can watch Dead Reckoning without having seen the other ones.
Yeah. That's the cool thing about the Mission Impossible films is that they stand alone. You don't,
I think
nice
Fallout, you'd have to watch. You need to see Rogue Nation to watch Fallout.
Yeah, because of Solomon. But yeah, no, that's all I've got this week, and hopefully I can catch up on Andor over the weekend and at least get to episode 5 so I can be caught up with you. But I don't think it's gonna take me like probably a month to finish it. What about you, Long?
I finished Andor a couple weeks ago, so I'm surprised. No, I'm not surprised. It'll pick up. I promise y'all. It'll reward you for your patience. I'm just waiting on you guys' opinions on it as soon as y'all finish it, and then I want to like when you finish the last episode of Andor, I highly recommend watch Rogue One right after it. Like not right after, but like at least a day after, while it's still fresh in your mind.
Okay.
Because it makes Rogue One it makes Rogue One even a better movie. Once you see the whole context of it all, so
makes more sense.
Yeah, so that's why I'm excited. But yeah, I wanted to tell y'all that to like once y'all finish Andor, like within a day or two, watch Rogue One again.
I've heard comparisons of it to like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad is like if you watch Breaking Bad first and watch Better Call Saul, then they say go back and watch Breaking Bad because you understand why Saul's character is the way he is in Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But I got a Steam Deck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I was really torn between getting the new Switch or the Steam Deck. I know the new Switch is like $100 cheaper than the Steam Deck. But man,
our Steam Deck's like 400, something like that.
No, it's 500.
No, damn, Long making deposits at the security bank for that.
No, I'm actually trying out that whole pay over time thing with purchases.
Yeah.
I'm giving that a try, but anyhow, I got a Steam Deck, and the reason why I got a Steam Deck over the Nintendo Switch 2 was because one, better customer service with Steam, because like if you buy a game, if you don't like it, you can just say, hey, can I return this? And then they'll do it, no questions asked, within 2 business days. But with Nintendo, it's like, oh, you don't like it? Too bad, it's yours,
Right. Yeah, PlayStation's like that as well.
Yeah, and then I just don't like how Nintendo's really taking advantage of their whole nostalgia thing with all the Mario and classic Nintendo characters. And they keep repackaging them like for $60. Now they're charging $80 to $90, as the starting point. Not $70, but $80, And because of that, Xbox is doing the same thing. They're raising their prices too.
Yeah, PS5 games are $70.
Well, yeah, and those have been a while like that too. But now people are looking at PS5 and saying, okay, are they going to raise it to $80 now too? Because Nintendo started it first.
I know, because I got one.
Yeah, and then Steam has like all these sales all the time.
Yeah, they have a massive library too.
Yeah, and it's a gorgeous little screen, nice little device. So
can't you hook them to your TV too and watch it playing on the TV?
Yeah, you can. But it's not as easy as a Switch where you just put it on the dock and then boom.
Right.
You just kind of have to, like dock it and then mess with the settings. Okay, now it's on the TV,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Well, I know games are expensive. I want to buy Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, but I'm gonna play a long game on it, waiting for it to run on sale.
It's on PS5 now.
Yeah, no, I know. But
Yeah,
it's
okay.
$70. I'm just gonna play a long game.
Yeah, I have it on my PC.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure it'll go on sale within a month or two.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just with the Steam Deck and having lots of fun with it, and
playing porno games.
Hell yeah.
I know those exist on the Steam Decks.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really liking the purchase of it. The screen is beautiful. I got the OLED version. So, and also with the Switch 2, it's like why buy it first year? Because I bought the first year launch of the Switch, and then 2 years later they came out with the OLED.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna wait till they come out with the upgrade on the Switch too.
Yeah, and all the software upgrades, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. Cool. All right. Well, I guess let's get into today's featured film then. This is an episode of Rebel Radio Podcast Revisit. Something it's only the second time we've done it, to take a movie that we did back several years ago and kind of give it another shot. And this one is definitely one that deserved another shot, because we did this original episode at Comicpalooza, and the audio
issues
come out well, noisy backgrounds, 45 minutes, which is actually more like 40 minutes. So you're rushed. You can't, it's hard because we don't adhere to a time on our podcast. We generally run 45 minutes to an hour. So when you're on that time strain, it's kind of like not always easy, because it's a lot easier to do a relaxed show. Mm-hmm. And so, and I think that's why we haven't done the standard show. The last few years, we kind of changed what we do at Comicpalooza, which is okay too. So it's a lot easier to talk about a movie when you're not under a time constraint. And that movie is Big Trouble in Little China. An all-time cult classic, if there ever was one, without a shadow of a doubt. Probably this might be one of those movies that's on the echelon of cult classics. I think is fair to say, which is wild, because it's a ridiculous film. In a lot of ways, it's a movie that you could watch. I feel like this is a movie that someone who doesn't understand why it's cult classic would watch this and completely pick it apart. And they'd be rightful to do so, because you could do that with this movie. But those of us that get it and they understand it, we know why. And this is one of the greatest fucking movies ever.
And one of the greatest openings.
Yeah. And of course, starring Kurt Russell, directed by the great John Carpenter. And it's like, this is also, who wants to take a shot at summarizing this? Because this is also a movie that someone who's never seen it, you try to explain this to them, they're like, what? Because it is that batshit crazy.
It is batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to do it is Jack Burton. Get introduced to Jack Burton, and he goes to Chinatown. You get to meet some of his friends, and his buddy is supposed to pick up a beautiful woman from the airport that he saved his money for. He's going to marry her. So he goes to the airport with them. He becomes entranced with Kim Cattrall and gets mixed up in some, Asian gang members. They steal the woman that his buddy's supposed to marry. They chase him, and they try to make it not seem, racist. They start looking at, shooting ranges and other places before they go down to Chinatown Alley, where they get mixed up in a battle that entails the mystic arts. And now they have to rescue both green-eyed women, Kim Cattrall and the woman that his buddy was supposed to marry. I forget the name. And rescue them from Lopan, who needs to marry them so that he can gain his human form and rise to his, demon emperor, dark emperor power, basically. And Jack Burton and his friends.
Good old Jack Burton.
Yep. But is it Jack Burton, or is it what's his alias from the burlesque place or brothel?
His character from his Disney film.
Yeah,
Used cars or whatever. Yeah. Man, I remember first time I saw this movie, I was young, man, 10, 11 years old. And I remember this was like that Saturday matinee movie that would come on Saturday after your Saturday morning cartoons. And I just always have loved this film. And the coolest thing about it is that Jack Burton is the main character, but yet the movie exists without him. That's what's crazy about it. It's the Indiana Jones syndrome. The whole movie will happen whether Jack's there or not. It's just like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark all still happens even if Indiana Jones isn't there. But is that the sign of a great movie? You have a hero that the movie is centered around that doesn't need to be there? Maybe so. Because Raiders is
like Wang is could be the main character in this film.
Well, I believe John Carpenter, even though he said that he advertised Russell on there as the main star, he intentionally made his partner the real lead, and that's why he had Jack Burton bumbling around the movie the whole time.
Oh, okay.
So that was John Carpenter's way of experimenting with, subversion and stuff, and he was like, "Hey, let's actually make the Chinese actor the main lead." Give him all the important plot-driven stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because the studio wouldn't accept an Asian as a lead at that point. Yeah.
So.
Had to slip it in there, baby.
Yeah.
So a lot. You tell people that haven't seen this film. We talked about how explain to them why you like this film. So, I think it's a fair question to answer. So, we'll do a little round table here and why does this film work and why do we like it so much, each of us?
Well, I was a kid and impressionable when I saw this, so I thought it was one of the coolest movies ever, made from Hollywood, that is. But so my mom had access to all these Hong Kong movies that I'm seeing, so I'm like, oh, these are really cool. And then kind of like the Hollywood version of that, getting off the beaten path and all. But I like it was really cool, especially with the three what do you call them?
The lightning, demigods, thunder, the storm gods.
Yeah, the storm gods.
Lightning, thunder, and rain.
Lightning was the coolest one, right? I mean, he was the coolest one. I mean, the lightning animation on him was so cool, and he was also the main inspiration for Raiden.
I was going to say he was cool enough to inspire Raiden.
Yeah. And but no, this is considered in the top 3 of all-time greats for John Carpenter films as well. But for me, it left a pretty strong impression of me as a 10-year-old, and rewatched it with my brother 5 years ago, and it was he didn't get it, but it was so random to him. But it's if you grew up as a kid watching this, you'd understand. That's what I told him. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense or not. It's just cool all around. So, but
Yeah,
I think you guys.
Yeah, I think the supernatural element is definitely what I like. The other world, there's another world out there, with different possibilities and different rules than the one normal people live by, and different limits, and then the humor, compiling that with humor. 2 things that I like comedies. I like something a little supernatural, something with some action, and it mixes it all up into one salad, and it tosses the salad, baby. This film tosses the salad.
I think you're using the term wrong, but okay.
No.
No, man.
Jack Burton, man. Jack Burton is the glue. He's the sauce.
Don't you mean the dressing?
The dressing, yes. Thank you, Long.
The ranch dressing.
Long gets it. See, he gets it.
All right, Low Panda. For me, I want to echo some of what Long said. Just the age I saw this, it was impressionable to me. Coming off at things like Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and now there's this film with all these crazy cast of characters, monsters, in it, cool special effects. You have a cool lead character that when you're like 10 years old, you don't realize that Jack's not cool, but you think he's cool. You want to be cool like Jack, right? It's like, hey, I want to be like Jack Burton. You pretend to play your PC or your what do they call those? Your ham radio and act like Jack Burton. I mean, that was cool, when you're an adult, you realize like, man, Jack's kind of a bumbling fool, but when you're 10, you don't really pick up on that.
No, you don't.
No.
And so you think he's cool. And just the bizarre craziness of it. Like you said, again, when you're 10, 11 years old, you don't understand a lot of it. Doesn't make sense. You're caught up in everything that's going on in this movie. You sit back and enjoy. I recently showed this to my 10-year-old for the first time, and he liked it, and he thought it was a fun movie too. And because it is. And I think that's just why it works. And so it's one of those movies that if you see it at the right age, it stays with you all those years. And I know sometimes we don't always agree on those. Like one of those for me was Monster Squad. I know you guys didn't quite get Monster Squad. Like I get it, and that's okay. But that was another movie that I watched at a young age. And Big Trouble in Little China is on that short list of movies other than Star Wars and Indiana Jones, of movies that really added to my love of film at an early young age. And also this still stands up. I think 30 years later, this movie still stands up well. I mean, yeah, it might not make sense to younger audiences or dare I say millennials that don't get this film because they're used to a different type of hyperkinetic type film that they put out now. But that's okay. I have to say Big Trouble in Little China is not for everybody, and maybe that makes it a good thing. It's special to a certain generation.
Yeah. When did you first see it, Matt?
Honestly, I don't think I saw it until we were going to talk about it.
Oh, really?
Really? So 7-8 years ago is the first time you ever saw this?
I want to say so. I want to say it's one of those films that...
You lived a sad, deprived childhood, sir.
I was watching Arnold and Sly and Lundgren. And
again, you lived a sad, deprived childhood.
Yeah. It was nothing but action films and stuff. But yeah, I was definitely very late to this one, which is crazy because it's like, when this film was 10 years old, I was 10, and it should have been on TV at some point. And it's definitely, one of those films that it came out after Halloween. Yeah, Halloween was 79, wasn't it? Yeah. So, and it's like I saw Halloween whenever I was like 10 or 11. But yeah, I don't know how this one slipped by.
Well, this was Carpenter in his prime when he was making, he did Halloween, he did sci-fi horror with The Thing, he did science fiction with science fiction supernatural with Big Trouble in Little China. He was a master of hitting just all different genres of films. Yeah. I think he even made a drama in there somewhere too, if I remember right. He was that's just what he was doing. The guy was just cranking out films, and he's an incredible worker because he's also, if I remember right, he directs a lot of his films. He does a lot of his own cinematography. He scores his own movies, does a lot of the music. And he still does that to this day, even at his age, does a lot of his own musical scores. And, and then if I remember right, wasn't this movie originally not even going to be directed by him? Or no, he wrote it and but he almost wasn't going to direct it because he wasn't sure if he had time. And they ended up directing, if I remember right. Because he was like, he wasn't going to let someone else do it. And, because I don't know what else he was working on, but who knows back then. Because this was 86, right? Yeah. And of course, the movie came out, didn't make any money at the box office. It found a home later on home video. The good old days when you walked into the video store, you rented your VHS tapes, and you went home and you watched them 20 times. And
first saw it on free TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, this was definitely a movie that you'd watch your Saturday morning cartoons on Fox or whatever, and then afterwards they put on that Saturday afternoon movie, and Big Trouble in Little China was one of those movies that was in that rotation. I know that was the first time I ever saw it. Probably was like free TV because I don't even think we had cable until like the 90s. I remember having cable when maybe we had it, but I just don't remember having it when I was younger. It feels like that was more of when I got in high school. Like, oh, we have cable TV now. So,
remember when you could get free cable? You ever watch the boobs with the squiggly lines?
That was a Mexican thing, Matt. When you also free cable box, right? Only Matt would sit there and go back and forth with the squiggly lines. And
I never had cable
I think I saw a boob
until I was out of college. Honestly, my parents didn't pay it for cable.
Nah. We had whatchamacallit? We had basic, but it didn't have, some of the channels. But my uncle, I think he paid somebody to like hook up. I guess you could like bridge a feed. But yeah, man. Fun stuff. Fun little tangent. Cable.
I did not know Jackie Chan was John Carpenter's first choice to play Wayne.
Yeah, I saw that. I forget who didn't like it. Someone didn't like it.
Well, the producers didn't like it, but yet Carpenter was going to win, but then Chan declined it.
Damn.
Because Chan was worried about. They agree with the producers, worried about with his English at the time if he could pull it off.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Some of the martial arts in it are pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a couple of random things that I've forgotten about the whole, which I did enjoy, was the random creatures. Like the one floating head with the eyeballs sticking out of it. That was kind of a cursed looking thing, especially was it when they stuck a sword in its head to kill it.
Oh yeah.
So,
and it's funny, there was a comic book series they did. It's like a sequel where that monster is more prevalent in the storyline.
Yeah. And hey, we got to talk about James Wong. Like, he's been in one of his most speaking roles ever.
Absolute legend.
Yeah. He's still, I don't know if he's slowed down yet, but yeah, he has a lot of credits to his name.
Well, he was just in Everything Everywhere All at Once a couple years ago.
Yeah,
still making movies.
Yeah, in his 90s now, maybe.
I believe so. He's got to be, man.
Yeah,
I mean, as long as I've been watching film, no offense to the guy, but he's always been old. So he's got to be in his 90s by now. Let me see, James Wong right here, 1929, dude. So he's 96 years old.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
February 22nd. So he's already had a birthday this year.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's awesome. And he's still working. His latest film was, of course, now the internet's going to be slow.
Panda 4? Was it Kung Fu Panda 4?
He did voice work for the Gremlins animated series.
Oh.
He's been doing
a very distinctive voice too.
Yeah, Kung Fu Panda 4. His last live action movie was called The Keepers of the Five Kingdoms. So yeah, still working.
Man,
that's incredible, man. God, kudos to him. But absolute legend, man.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, I mean, he's one of those guys that, as long as I've been watching movies, that James Wong has been around and been in them.
He's always looked the same.
Mm-hmm.
What other actors like that?
I mean, Eastwood was close. I mean, he's still directing films.
Oh, his age has finally caught up with him, though. He really looks like he's in his late 90s now. He's really super hunched back. And freaking Gene Hackman, there was remember that when he was out in the public a couple of times?
Dude.
He was very skinny as well.
Well, a lot of those guys, like the last photos of Sean Connery, he didn't look healthy either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, James Wong's still going, man. I remember when I went to see Everything Everywhere All at Once and he was in the film. I was like, oh, there's James Wong. It's good to see him in a movie. And I mean, Kim Cattrall in this film. Of course, she still went on to Sex and the City and have a successful career with that.
Yeah.
I first saw her in Mannequin.
I mean, Kurt Russell obviously still working today. He's recently in Monarch.
That guy's aged well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, well, heck, you look at. No, never mind. I had a different thought. I mean, I think didn't Carter Wong, who played Lightning, he went on to be in a lot of films too. Yeah, he was in Rambo 3. Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. So a lot of people have quite successful careers.
And I know they were originally going to release The Golden Child the same time as this film, but they moved the release date up so that it wouldn't get released the same time as The Golden Child.
Yeah, that was another random movie.
Another movie with Peter Kwong, who recently passed away.
It's been a while since I've seen The Golden Child. Like, I know what it is. It's Eddie Murphy and all that. It's been some years. That's another movie that used to air on TV all the time, The Golden Child.
Yeah.
I remember that. Man, the 80s were a cool era, man, in some ways. Random movies on TV. Because, you didn't know any different back then. That was your way of watching stuff. You would stop and catch Terminator on television, even though it was edited, or Big Trouble in Little China, or old Bruce Lee film or whatever. And they would just be airing on Saturday afternoon TV. That's how you discovered movies if you didn't go to the video store. And these kids nowadays, they have it so easy. Just pull up a streaming service and rent a movie. It's not fair.
I know, man. You don't have to just wait until it just randomly pops up.
You used to have to wait. People are
TV
realizing
Guide.
6 to 8 months for it to even come to the video store, sometimes up to a year.
Mm-hmm.
In order to purchase a movie, sometimes it was 18 months to 2 years before you could buy it. Like when Batman 89 came out in theaters in June and you could buy it at Christmas, that was unprecedented to have a 6-month window to be able to buy it on VHS. No one ever heard that before. You just have to wait a long time to own a film, and not now. Sometimes within a couple of weeks of it being in theaters, it's available digitally. Minimum 45 days for some of these films. It's wild, man. But I think that's another thing that just makes Big Trouble in Little China this special cult classic is the time in which it came out, the era. And it's good to see, though, that people are still discovering the film today, and that our kids and our new generations, if their parents raise them right and show them this film, and even Matt, even though you were a late bloomer to come to this movie, at least you appreciate it and understand what it's all about. But I think it's definitely a movie, like I said earlier in the podcast. I think it's on that echelon of great cult classics. If you could pick 5 or 6 of them, this is right there. It would be on that list easily.
Yeah,
it defines what a cult classic is, absolutely. And
really does. And one of the main reasons why, at the time, Fox only allowed $3 million for marketing on any film at that time. They had a strict policy.
Yeah, and Kurt Russell himself even felt when he was doing promotion for the movie, he didn't know how to sell the film. He's like, how do I talk about this movie? Because it's a bit, it's kind of bizarre and crazy, and then I think they even cut the marketing on it because they didn't believe in it. Aliens was coming out, and there was so much hype behind it. I think this released within a couple weeks when Aliens came out. Top Gun was in theaters, doing very well.
Yeah.
So it's just bad, wrong place, wrong time for Big Trouble in Little China in theaters. But at least it found its success in other ways, and it's still 30 years later a classic film. Do you guys have a favorite part of the movie?
The introduction of the 3 Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part of the film. It was like the part of the film that's like, okay, we are definitely going into fantasy.
It completely changes the directions of the movie.
Yeah. It's like, okay. But I like that. That's my favorite part of the film, really.
I like the beginning, just because it's very comical. I think that's the part that stands out the most to me, just the random shit that Kurt Russell says. If someone grabs you around the neck and asks you if you paid your dues, tell them, yeah, bud, the check's in the mail. I never drive. Yeah, I've never drive faster than I can see. Just
it's all in the reflexes.
Yeah, all in the reflexes. And it said that he based his character off of John Wayne. I could kind of see it.
I like right before they're going to the final battle, and Egg Shen gives them the quote unquote secret potion, and
Yes.
And obviously it's action trying to get their confidence up,
Yeah.
Because you can tell I look at his face like, oh, they're buying into it. They're like, oh, I feel really good. I think that's hilarious.
But
and
first, some
then,
dry ice.
and then they're going in and Jack gets bonked on the head and he's knocked out for half the battle.
Yep.
I think that just, it sums up the craziness of the film in just that one little scene. I thought that was really cool. And, but just a fun movie, man. That whole final battle was a lot of fun too.
That was good. He's knocked out. His friends are fighting through the air.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, not only we already went into fantasy world, like Long just said, whenever we're introduced to the lightning, the storm gods, right? But then, like, all of a sudden, Wang is flying through the air at the final battle. He's jumping across. They're like, where did this all come from? And it's supposed to be the magic potion. That's not really a magic potion, I guess. But it works, in so many ways. But a fine A+ film if there ever was one. I think it's a fun movie. I watch it at least once a year. Sometimes, just have to sit down and put this on in the background because it's Big Trouble in Little China.
Plus, I still laugh at that scene where when they're about to fight in the final battle, and everyone's like about to, go into the fight, and then Jack Burton is like, points his gun up in the air and starts shooting, to hype himself up, and then he starts shooting the bricks above his head, and he knocks himself out.
Yeah, long dozed off there a second because that's what I just said.
Right, I know.
I know.
I want to say it too.
Yeah.
And then the part where the Guardian was stuck on him. Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He was trying to get his knife out of the Guardian, but he's stuck the whole battle too. So he didn't get a chance to do much except for that last part. So.
We somewhere on our YouTube channel, we did those fun video promos where we kind of did a Jack Burton type thing, and we did the whole potion, and everything. We pretended like we were doing Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous. That was a long time ago, and they're still on their YouTube channel out there somewhere. Our Rubber Radio podcast promos.
It is.
See, that's how impressive this movie is. That it made us shoot a mini video, pretending like we were characters in this movie.
At least we didn't get to see Frank show his belly off or something.
Oh, we shot that. I never released it.
Yeah.
The we shot Frank. Still out there shot Frank doing the truffle shuffle, but it just didn't work right, so I never released that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm just going to say that footage has been.
Didn't you almost throw up in your mouth filming that?
Oh yeah, man. Footage was destroyed. Okay.
I heard someone gagging behind the camera.
Yeah. No, I don't even think it's on the behind the scenes footage I put out. I don't even think I put it on that. I'm like,
I don't think
just
so.
Got rid of it.
Wow.
Fun times back then, though, and different times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it was fun. That was fun revisiting Big Trouble in Little China and the Rubber Radio Revisits. So next week, we are going to. It didn't click that we're doing a Clint Eastwood movie next week, 449, right before we get to 450. As we are going to finish off the trilogy because we never did. We did A Fistful of Dollars. We did The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So we are going to do a few dollars more and finish off the Man with No Name trilogy. Obviously, we didn't do them in order, but it doesn't really matter for that trilogy. They're just a trilogy by character, not really by what happens in them. So that'll be a fun one to talk about. So we will discuss the Clint Eastwood, Sergio Leone film next week. Good old spaghetti Western action on the podcast. Yeah, that's a good. Have you seen that one, Matt? I know you said you weren't sure if you've seen all three of those.
Is that the one where he tells the guys that they need to apologize to his horse?
Yes, at the beginning.
Yeah,
and he keeps playing the gangs against each other to outbid him for his services. Yeah. So it's a good one. And then there's a big old battle at the end. So, I mean, all three of those movies are good. I mean, they're classics. So.
See, I thought it was funny, but my horse, he didn't get it. He didn't understand.
So that'll be next week on the show. Until then, the rubberradiopodcast.com for all your Rubber Radio needs. And continue to be safe out there. We thank you as always for listening. This has been Mark.
This has been Matt.
This is good old Long Tran.
Remember, as always, just go
Let's
there,
go there and do it.